An agreement on how water distribution will be handled, as the military population is expected to rise drastically in the next few years, was reached between the local and federal government. GWA is basically taking over the Navy system, and the Navy would then become a customer. Simon Sanchez, chairperson of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, explains.
We want to merge the systems and have Guam Waterworks Authority manage and operate the system in the same way that the Guam Power Authority manages and operates the entire power system.
But when it came to the details of the deal, Sanchez saw a problem.
The problem is when they passed the actual enabling language in Congress. It came with some requirements that were not wanted by Guam, not asked for by Guam.
Senator Tom Atta, who formerly served on the CCU, is also concerned about the National Defense Authorization Act, specifically a provision that allows the Secretary of Defense, if he chooses, to convey the Fenna Reservoir to Gov Guam at a price tag of $300 million.
But, you know, the Navy back in the early 90s turned over its power infrastructure to the Guam Power Authority. And we did not have to buy that infrastructure then.
Even more objectionable to both Sanchez and the committee chair on utilities is a stipulation in the law that the Navy would control 1/3 of the seats on the CCU.
Our point is, you're a customer. You don't need to sit on the board. The Hilton doesn't sit on the board. The government of Guam doesn't sit on the board. 5 citizens elected by the community are your board.
To require that they sit on the CCU only suggests that they think that we're unable to do so otherwise.
Atta wrote to Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo, who responded that the portions of the law he is objecting to are permissive and do not have to be executed by the Secretary of Defense. But Atta remains concerned over its implication.
While the language is permissive that the Secretary of Defense may, if he chooses, turn over the infrastructure, what is not permissive is the requirement that if he chooses to do that, we have to buy it, and they get 33% voting rights on the CCU.
And the control under the current law even extends to the chairmanship of the board, again giving the Navy 1/3 of the power, a notion Sanchez finds particularly vexing.
I don't know what that means. How do you? I'm an individual person. You have a chairman. How do you have 2/3 of a chairman be not DOD and 1/3 of the chairman be DOD?
Sanchez and Atta hope Congresswoman Bordallo will offer amendments to the Defense Authorization Act that will remove the buyout clause and the stipulation of the Navy's participation in control of the CCU and allow the authorization of the transfer of the utilities to the government of Guam without the strings attached. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Lanny Walker.